Hi Cancer, welcome to your July reading and happy Cancer season, happy birthday, happy belated to those who have already celebrated. You have the sun in your sign until the 22nd, and along with that, from the 11th of July until the 27th, you have Mercury there. So you are so popular, so publicly successful, so much the belle of the ball. All eyes are on you. Everyone wants to talk to you. Everyone wants to talk about you, but in very positive ways. People are just so happy to witness your success. And I think that's really new for you. You're used to people wanting you to be the underdog, but not winning, but remaining the underdog. This is completely different. This is you winning and getting all the attention for it and being okay with that. And there is no other shoe dropping. There is no catastrophe to come. You're just winning. So enjoy this. Be okay with this. Don't look for any issues. There are none. You're just feeling good and you're on a winning streak, and you're also very, very popular. You find it very easy when you feel this successful to say things just as you feel them. Now, a lot of the times that is not advised for you, but in July, say things as you feel them. Say things exactly as you feel them, as they are, and you will see how you win over and over again. Your emotional honesty is the key to all success in July, perhaps in general. Okay. Now, because you're feeling so good, and the Six of Wands is, the marker of so much prosperity, so much public good fortune, you may find that it's going to your head a little bit. You may feel around mid-July like you're getting a little too caught up in your own thing, in your own BS. And that's really okay. Because first of all, that happens to everybody. And secondly, this is the bottom of the deck here. I understand taking so much risk and being so okay with the universe brings you that you almost go too far. I totally commiserate there. I get it. But, now that you know that, you understand it, it's in your astrology, it comes up in your cards. So just understand that throughout the month, when you feel that you are perhaps venturing a bit far, to pull yourself back so nobody else has to do it for you. We don't want to get so lost in hearing the sound of our own voice that we become tiresome to others and to ourselves. We stop learning and start preaching. We just don't want to go there. So it's very positive month. Just make sure that it doesn't go to your head, because you're not going to notice if you start being obnoxious. Other people will notice. This is also one of those months where you really just don't care about romance and love. I mean, of course you care, but you don't really. You're so much more interested in this accumulation of wealth, of security. You've gotten a taste for it over the past couple of months. And ironically, even though you could care less right now, there is a wonderful connection to be made. Could be a friendship, but someone comes into your life in July that makes someone who makes a huge impact, or perhaps someone you're already involved with, and suddenly now you're feeling these pangs of jealousy. You're starting to get possessive. You're starting to act out all those small behaviors that you know yourself come out when you start to either like someone or your feelings are reignited by something. So either a new connection comes in or a connection is revitalized, an existing connection, and instead of this being positive and refreshing for you, it can become a source of terrible anxiety and fueled by possessiveness and jealousy, and, to be completely frank, a perceived connection. It may not even be as deep as you make it seem, which is again ironic, because beginning of July you don't even want to think about connections, but then it comes along and you're kind of blown away by it, or it's reinvigorated and you're blown away by it, and then you can take it to extremes that the other person is not ready for, or has not given you any indication of being ready for. So it's tricky. It's tricky. And in the midst of all this, your jealousy is doing a number on everything around you, on every aspect of your life, and you've really got to rein it in. It's not the time to trust your, paranoid fantasies about who is against you and how much they don't like you. Don't do it. Not this month, because your mind will just go so far with it, and it can be so isolating and so painful. King of Swords, you may also find that someone you respect very much, someone whose intelligence you respect very much, someone who may even be in a position of authority over you, you find that they're just either not doing well in their own life, or they've just decided that you're the enemy, you're the target, and you've got to, either speak up or say something, or stay in this state of feeling picked on, diminished, used, abused, This King of Swords is also what you do. I'm just trying to think of a way to phrase it so it's not offensive. When you jump to conclusions, you make huge leaps in logic because you're going off of a gut feeling, and that gut feeling is of course tinged with emotions, and generally those emotions are triggered by some sort of insecurity, and the conclusions you jump to can be incredibly harsh, and then we end up feeling isolated and alone because no one seems to want to deal with this tendency to jump to conclusions. Not in July. So the more emotional confidence you can cultivate before we get to Leo season, the more smoothly July goes for you. Now, that Two of Cups, in the astrological write-up, one of the things I have written down is, are you in love with a friend? So there are some of you who may find yourself right now flirting with the idea of making a friendship, a long-term friendship, into something more. Don't move on that. Give it the summer. Do nothing. See how it plays out. Money, don't spend it. You've gotten used to the idea of saving it. You're getting used to and beginning to like the idea of accumulating it. Continue to do so. Continue to feel prepared. You want to make so many improvements when it comes to everything that represents you, from your wardrobe to your business cards to your home to your hair. You just want to revamp everything because you feel this surge of energy of all these planets in your sign, right? It gives you all the insight you need. It opens all the doors energetically, and you see yourself different, you see your home different, and you want those things. But all of those things, most of those things, although began in the energetic realm, still require money, right? So the feeling behind it is, I am important. I want to properly express who I am. I want the representation of me that's out there, i.e. my home, my clothes, right, what have you. I want it to be an appropriate representation of me. That is great. But where that takes you, of course, is into the material realm. And right now, for you to spend on your home or even on yourself, even though it doesn't seem like there's anything on the horizon, would be a mistake. It is not the time to do so, even though you very much feel like it. So what I would suggest, although it's not as much fun, is rearranging stuff, reorganizing things, donating things, and perhaps that starts with making a more cohesive life plan for the next 6 months. What do you want out of the next 6 months? How do you want to look? What do you want to be wearing? What do you want to be eating? What do you want the state of your house to look like? What do you want the state of your finances to look like? And then beginning to mold your home around the priorities that you come up with, around the deadlines that you have coming up. That seems much more important to me than buying things. Now, of course, there are things that you're going to want to buy that support these changes that you're making, and I totally get it. But large expenses right now are a mistake. It's not time to begin that huge overhaul process that you want, that's really going to cement the changes you want to make. It's what I'm basically saying is you're going to have to make those changes even though you don't have things perfectly lined up the way you'd want, so that you can continue to do those things. It's okay. Start them anyway. Start doing them anyway. You don't need the perfect kitchen to start drinking lime water every morning. Although I understand exactly why you would think so. Now, you can also be faced with some pretty gruesome truths when it comes to other people's money. How you spend it, if you're spending it, if you owe them, if you're in debt. It can get very sticky towards the end of the month when it comes to loans, when it comes to getting any sort of an allowance, right? There can be disruption there. Don't freak out. Do not spend out of stress. This is another reason when I say heightened expenses, it can also be delays in money. So it's just this a bit of a standstill when it comes to finances. Don't freak out. That situation will resolve itself. You actually have great money luck. So you have to look at whatever is blocked right now. You have to look at it as something that isn't good for you. Because your money luck is great. And you're going to have all these great opportunities coming in. Really taking some pretty, circuitous routes, but it's coming to you. So anything that does get blocked right now is meant to be blocked, and we don't want to pay it a lot of attention. And what we certainly don't want to do is take all the hard work we've done throughout May and June and throw it away because we haven't quite gotten what we wanted yet. Don't do that. At this point, you're not saving money because you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like I said, no, you're feeling great, you're winning. At this point, you're saving money because you're starting to understand how much you being emotionally balanced, one, like we talked about last month, brings in more money, okay? And how it keeps you from having these reactions like jumping to conclusions, like being jealous, like being possessive. When you feel good about you, when you feel like you're earning what you should be, when you feel like you're contributing, when you feel like a success, those vices, they don't bother you as much. Let's take a look at these cards. Love you. Hi, Cancer. Welcome to the second part of your reading. Well, my only excuse is that getting in the water when it's already raging is quite a gamble. And also, perhaps many of you will be able to empathize with me. This season so far, your season has been very heavy. There are many things that are coming up now that you may have thought would have come up during the retrograde. And the thing is, they did, but you're only now processing them. In terms of your magnetism, your ability to create abundance or to attract it into your life, you're so much the center of things. You're the angel with the trumpet. Everyone wants to listen to you. Everyone, everywhere wants to hear from you. Now, this has a lot to do with Mercury going into your sign on the 11th. And your reading really is about the time from the 11th to the 27th. Because that's when you're able to create using your words in a way that may seem even supernatural to you. Six of Wands, reaching great heights of success and perhaps personal satisfaction, something that you personally have been wanting to accomplish for a long time. You have these moments starting on the 11th where you're caught looking around and understanding and recognizing that there was a time that you really, really wanted this and that you have it. And in those moments, I suggest you be very grateful and perhaps prayerful. Okay. Now, let's look at the Two of Cups and the Fool. When it comes to your relationships with other people, it's easy when you feel like this, like when you feel like you can't lose. It's really easy to take up too much room. When I say that my only excuse is that it's difficult to walk into the water when it's already raging, I don't think you yourself understand how much the waters rage in your season. Because you're a creature of it, I don't think you'll ever be able to gauge how terrifying it is to the rest of us. Right? And then there is the impact of all that power just unleashed within you, in your season, in the oceans. And you apply that, Two of Cups, to your relationships with other people. And you may have some uncomfortable moments where people feel that you are talking over them, or that you are becoming self-involved, or that you are not really interested in what anyone else has to say. And of course, we all, when we're having a really great streak, we love the sound of our own voice. So it's nothing out of the ordinary, but if you watch it, you'll avoid some uncomfortable moments and perhaps be able to strengthen connections instead of straining them. And then we have the World card. Okay. So, there is another part of you that really doesn't want anything to do with this romance or connectivity or anything. You're really just focused on broadening your market. And it's actually a good outlet, because if you like someone, or you're crushing on someone, or if you've met someone, there is going to be these moments there are going to be these moments in Cancer season where you're kind of jealous for no reason. And it would be so great to channel that energy instead of sitting in it and beginning to believe it, even though it's not true, whatever is making you jealous. Recognizing that it's your own insecurities, wanting attention and pointing to a wound. Okay, accept that. And then use whatever frenetic energy you have there and channel it into doing some work. Ace of Pentacles. You know that energy you have when you start jumping to conclusions, the Fool in reverse? You get all like emotionally confused. You swear you know what's going on. Imagine if you could take the force of that energy that you know that you can get into and you channeled it into your work. Not, wreaking havoc at work is what I mean, but I mean that raw energy. Take the emotion out of it, the force that you know you have. If you channel it into any sort of work, it will pay off, inshallah. So that's what I would suggest you do. And the Ace of Pentacles says that is, in fact, what you do. And we come into Leo season very comfortable, which is nice. You've been saving the money, you've been doing the work, you've been rehabilitating your relationship with money that started months and months ago. And the payoff is so wonderful. Gives you a little room to breathe, and be even more authentic with what you want to do. Because truth be told, if Cancers had all the money in the world, you'd never see them again. Right? For Cancers, money's just freedom. And so that realization that you've been having, again, for months, it's nice to see it paying dividends, right? And Leo season is going to give you that feeling of, yeah, I've been doing it right, and I feel free, and I feel free to express myself how I want. That's the other thing. Cancerians started making their own choices, I think about 6 months ago, where you were just like, okay, you know what? Forget it then. I'm going to do what I want. And because people are not used to you throwing in the towel and, dropping the shell and picking up a new one, they didn't quite know how to react, and they didn't quite know what was going to happen next. And it seems that for the past 6 months, perhaps some of you a year now, you have been quietly working, building that shell from the inside out. And you're proud of what you've built and what you've created, and you're proud of the feeling that you have provided your own security, that you have fulfilled your own needs. It's like a feedback loop. It then feeds your spirit this really rich energy that then gives you more inspiration, more things that you can turn into value and attract money with. So there is a completion to the circle of the world, the circle of the Ace of Pentacles. There is a culmination of an understanding there when it comes to money and your relationship with money. And I feel for many of you, a healing has occurred. And you feel the flow. And it's really nice, right? It's nice. It's nice. Teach the young Cancers. They need it, right? Imagine how different you would be if you had known these things, 10 years ago, for those of you who are like in your 30s. So, the thing with this money with the thing that you've been building, with the decisions you've been making, with the freedom that you have been choosing, with the projects that you've been working on, the thing with that money is that it's slow. So you need to be slow. Now, that can be a bit tricky, okay? Because King of Swords, Nine of Swords. For some of you, I'm just going to be really honest, for some of you, be slow means be home a lot, and if you live with someone who's not a very nice person, this is a very difficult thing to do, okay? For some of you, for more of you, being a cardinal sign, you want things how you want them when you want them, and when you don't get them, and when you feel that the effort you have put in has not been reflected in what you have gotten back in a timely fashion. Again, your mom wants you to do things. Come on. You have a tendency to take it out on yourself. You can be very harsh with yourself. You can start to nitpick at yourself, trying to find a reason or a flaw within you for why the return hasn't been quicker. Well, in this case, the return is just not quick. It's slow. And if in that slowness you can learn a lesson about kindness to yourself, please do so. It's not a time to feel like you have so much money that you can spend a lot. I need to reiterate, even though you feel secure and you feel like you have things under control and you feel great, don't spend. Not yet. It's not time yet. And if you are in a situation where someone has control over you because they are the ones that are paying for you to exist or survive, this is the month to start making a plan to get out of that situation. Because that situation looks like it's about to come to a head. And it doesn't look pleasant. Also, you shouldn't spend because by the end of the month you may find that there are some logistical things that need to be done that cost. So, it's that shell repair, rebuild thing that you're in right now. So keep that in mind. And although those expenses seem to come in at the end of the month, it doesn't really matter because you have this great luck. And you have learned the joy of having and being able to retain the security that is money. It's very easy to take all this progress and throw it away. Seven of Swords, if you lose your temper and you lose control of your emotions and you take something that is perhaps just mean and turn it into something sinister. I say mean because especially in your season, but also in general, Cancerians, you have a tendency to see the meanness in people's words that they don't even see themselves. The meanness is there. I'm not gaslighting you. It's definitely there. I'm saying they don't know it's there. It's something that's embedded so deep in them that for them, they're not trying to say it that way, but because you can feel through the different layers of why and how people say what they say, you feel the meanness in it way more than they intended. Now, this is not by any means meant to be an apology or to be an apologist for anyone who is being mean to you. That's not what I mean. Mean. What I'm saying is that if you know someone is a good person and you trust them, give them a little bit of room, because it's very easy for something they say to get blown out of proportion because you can see through all the layers and perhaps they're going through their own thing. And that can cause a chain reaction of then a lot of people going through their own thing. And we would rather just avoid that. One of the ways that you can avoid that is by focusing on your health and focusing on the organization and the beauty of your surroundings. if you're working constantly on yourself, your health, your body, your home environment, improving, upgrading, you know, and I don't mean going and buying stuff. I mean fixing stuff. I mean organizing stuff. I mean throwing things out, you know, exercising, eating well, cooking at home. If you're doing these things, you're a lot less likely to take something that is perhaps just a banal comment and be so hurt by it that then it creates this storm that's actually so unbelievably huge compared to how it started. You know, you have those moments where something starts over nothing and then it turns into this like horrific thing. We just don't want to do it, Cancer. We just don't want to do it. And the urge to pull them into the undertow, when, you know, with the undertow out to sea, out into the open sea, the urge into the open ocean. Oh, the urge is so strong. You know, because I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This 5 of Wands here, 7 of Swords, one of the things that you are picking up on left and right, and you have been since your season started, is the maligning, is the energy theft, is the gossip. It, like, what has been going on right behind your back, and for how long? I think many of you are in different stages of grief when it comes to someone in your life, someone who's recently betrayed you, or you've recently found something out that you're like, wait, what? It may even be someone that you're still really close with, but it's something that has changed your perspective when it comes to them. And the trust seems to have been shattered. Now that can turn into a really ugly time. You know, remember the Emperor there, Mars and Leo. It wants to fight. It's good at fighting. It enjoys fighting, and it thinks it's right to do it. Now, you need to think very carefully about whether or not that's an energy you want to indulge, because I have a feeling, Cancer, that once you start indulging it, it's going to be very difficult to stop, and then you basically go on a rampage for like 25 days, which could also be fun. And I'm sure that there are some of you who will choose that option, and we would all, I speak for all of us, when I say that we would like to be updated on your exploits. Be careful. But no, if you can avoid these moments and do something productive with an energy that is fantastic for you, Mars and Venus in Leo, right in front of you, it's wonderful. It's wonderful if you can see past all these people who are trying to connect with you, trying to get you to feel something, trying to get your attention. If you can see past, you know, the wave of magnetism that's attracting all these things to you, then you can direct the wave. If you don't get caught up in it, you can direct it into your work. You can channel it. You know, that wave can easily break through barriers that you couldn't otherwise. Now again, sure, you can choose to use that energy on other things, but why? If we've learned anything in the past few months, it's that loving people and relying on them are very different things. And that perhaps to truly love someone, you can't rely on them. So it just stands to reason that then what you do
and how you take care of yourself must be primary. Well, I think it was worth the wait. Don't you think? Don't you think? I was scared. I love you so much. The extended is on Vimeo, and there's a PayPal link, and there is a Patreon link. The first part of this video was on Patreon for like 2 weeks already. If you would like a personal reading, please click the Cameo link below. And if you would like to take a look at these beautiful rings, this is the World Ring, and this is the Empress, and these are both available at the links below and also at ambercon.com. There is a full moon satsang coming up on July 24th. There will be a link, an Eventbrite link for that below as well. Love you, love you, love you, love you. Happy birthday, if I haven't said it enough. You have carried us through yet another year of heartbreak and illness and panic, and you have kept your cool, and you have kept moving forward, and you have kept us moving forward, and we are forever grateful to you. Love you. Happy birthday.